How does the very beginning of the Bible help us to understand what's really going on when David defeats Goliath in 1 Samuel chapter 17? You know the story of David and Goliath. For 40 days, the Bible tells us, the Philistine champion giant had come and taunted the armies of the nation of Israel, the armies of the living God, until one day, David, a shepherd from Bethlehem, the boy who had been anointed king very recently by the prophet Samuel, comes bringing supplies to his brothers when he hears Goliath's taunts and he is angered that God's name is being blasphemed. Here's a portion of how David responds to Goliath from 1 Samuel 17. David says he's going to defeat Goliath so that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel, and that all this assembly may know that the Lord saves not with sword and spear. For the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hand, David tells the giant. Now, what's really going on in the story of David and Goliath? Is it God just showing you that he equips you to win the battles against your giants, or is there something much more glorious going on? Well, Genesis chapter 3 helps us. In Genesis chapter 3, Adam and Eve have sinned, and God is pronouncing a curse on the serpent, Satan, who tempted Adam and Eve to sin. God says to the serpent, I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. David is a type of the seed of the woman who is ultimately Christ. And Goliath is among the seed of the serpent who is Satan. And so ultimately, David and Goliath tell us the story of Jesus' defeat of Satan. And where does Jesus defeat Satan? Well, listen to Hebrews chapter 2, verses 14 and 15. Since therefore the children share in flesh and blood, he himself, Jesus, likewise partook of the same things, that through death, that is, his death on the cross, he might destroy the one who has the power of death, that is the devil, and deliver all those who through fear of death were subject to lifelong slavery. So the story of David and Goliath is about God defeating your enemies, but not just your sort of rank and file enemies, but the enemy that you really need him to defeat, the enemy only he can defeat, Satan, the enemy of your souls, and all of the punishments that attend being a follower of Satan: death, hell, the grave, separation from God eternally in the lake of fire. Praise the Lord for our King, who is the one greater than David, who defeated at the cross and will defeat finally and eternally at the last day our great enemy, Satan. Rejoice in that conquering King today.